Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So, discussing this verse 4, 5. बुद्धिर्ज्ञान सम्मोह क्षमा सत्यम दम शमः सुखम दुःखम भवो भावो भयं च भयमेव च अहिंसा समिता तुष्टे तपोदानं यशो यशः भवन्ति भावा भूतानां मुक्ता एव पृथक्विधाः. So we discussed unnecessary thoughts, correct? You should not spend much time on your money. Yeah. One thing I wanted to tell in this regard of controlling uh, the mind and senses. See, there is in Bhagavad Gita a very beautiful description about how one can actually work in this world. The way to work in this world is told that one should be connected to Krishna. Yukta asita matpara, is mentioned. Yukta asita matpara. That means one should be connected to Krishna. That's how one can work in this world. So Krishna, Arjuna asked two questions. No? How Asata Pragya, asit, kim asit, and Rajeta kim. Kim asit means how he manages his senses. And the second question he asks how he engages his senses. That is Rajeta kim, how his senses are engaged and how his senses he manages. How he sits means how he controls his senses. So both of these questions are important questions. And Krishna very beautifully answers. So Krishna gives the example of Kurmangani Vasarvishna. He says about the tortoise. So the tortoise, he withdraw the sense when there's unfavorable situation. And then he says that, but Krishna says, with just restraining the senses in the unfavorable environment is not just sufficient, so it's important. One should also develop higher taste, he says. When you have the higher taste, then you can easily be engaged, because higher taste means yukta asit matparaha. Like that. And same thing for even engaging the senses also. Krishna says, Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha. Yashendriya. Tasya pragya pratishtha. Says there also that how one should also engage the senses while being connected to the Lord. Raga dvesha muktashu vishyan indrasham atma vashya vidheyatma prasadam. So this being connected to the Lord is important. So that means when we are living in this world, our intentions towards pleasing Krishna has to be strengthened. We should be able to offer. So see, one thing is that to become completely shut to all the sense objects, but which may not be visible in this world, because we are living in this world. There are senses that are going to be there around. So we can create as much a safe environment as possible. That is good, wonderful. But at the same time, we have to know that the more powerful solution, apart from just trying to create safe environment, is that you have a very serious intention of pleasing Krishna. And then what happens, any sense object also comes, you offer it to Krishna. You don't want to enjoy that sense object. So there can be different stages in which you can see the sense object. The first stage, the materialistic fellows, they will see sense object as object of enjoyment only. But as you little bit, when you become aware of the trap of sense gratification, and also you want to progress in your spiritual life, then then you can see the sense objects as objects of danger, because it can trap you. But as you become more mature, and you get engaged in devotional service, then you start seeing sense object as, okay, this all thing belongs to Krishna. So these are meant for Krishna, not for me, like that. So you start not being attached, not being averse also. So you offer it to Krishna like that. So this is how a devotee eventually progresses that way. When he's progressing towards, when he's becoming not attached and averse also, still he's alert, because it's not that he's callous, he's still alert about the danger. So even though that's why Srila Prabhupada so many times in his books also he has talked about danger of sense gratification, danger of sense object. Like so that alertness should be there. At the same time, the perspective should become more matured in terms of it all belongs to Krishna. Like that. And that happens when we have developed much more strong intention to please Krishna. Like for example, I'll tell you, when Hanumanji was going to Lanka, so that time, in the Ravana palaces, so many women were there also, apart from Mandodari, because he had kidnapped so many like that. And they were not properly, I mean, they were also sleeping there. So they were not in proper situation that way. Because of sleeping all of them there. But Hanumanji, when he was trying to search for the Sita, he did not get right. Not like Hanumanji was purposely going to a dangerous thing, because he had a service. So he had a very serious intention of pleasing Krishna. When our intent to please Krishna becomes so strong, then then one will not actually look for uh, enjoying the sense object, that you can see, and he is not uh, very averse also, too averse also. Rather, he is neutral in terms of not attached, not averse, but he is having attachment to serve Krishna. So that is a very important point. So attachment to serve Krishna is the key, or serious intention to please Krishna, serve Krishna is the key. Then you can very seriously, what I'm saying. When you have that serious intention to serve Krishna, then you actually are very properly situated. That's how a devotee of the Lord. So that's why this is the right kind of disposition of a devotee. He is very rightly situated in terms of he is connected to Krishna. He is working in this world in relation with Krishna. So when you're working in this world in relation with Krishna, then only you are safe like that. Then you are safe that way. So devotee eventually so that's why only through bhakti yoga only you can conquer all mind and senses, because bhakti yoga, it increases your intention to please Krishna very powerfully, right? So that's why only these people can overcome the trap of sense gratification. Otherwise, jnanis, they only see the sense objects as object of dangers, but that may not help them because they will again be troubled by sense objects, because the craving for enjoyment is still there, though they know sense gratification is dangerous. But there is the heart is not fulfilled. That's what Krishna says then further example that of ocean. The ocean is finding the fullness, so the rivers will not disturb him, right? But if little bit puddle of water, there's so many rivers of desires may come and then get disturbed like that. The same way the Gyanis, even though they may see the sense objects as objects of danger, but because they're not having fullness, because they're not acting in relation with Krishna. So because that intention to please Krishna is not there, so then because of lack of that intention, yes, Krishna, only they are having so much awareness of the danger of such objects may not help because the fullness is not there. So they're lacking. The heart is still lacking, and it is still hollow, empty. So that's why they have chance to get trapped by sense objects again. So there is a problem with jnanis. So it says here that senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. There is no prohibition meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Control of senses means the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessities of human beings, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons or authority in the scriptures, saintly persons and spiritual masters. Sukham, pleasure, or happiness should always be in that which is favorable for the cultivation of spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So our happiness should lie in cultivation of the spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Should always be in that which is favorable for the cultivation of spiritual knowledge. And similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. That which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for the cultivation. So, what is unfavorable, that devotee becomes upset with. Like that. But whatever is favorable, devotee is happy with. So, sometimes some kind of difficult situation may be favorable for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Like, say, suppose you have to put yourself under the order of Guru, you have to get up in the morning. It looks like very difficult sometimes. But it's favorable for cultivation of spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So it's pleasure. So, you know, tapsa brahmacharya samine chadamachadi. So those are sadhakas, they should take pleasure in doing austerities. Because it's favorable things. That may be a little austere, but we do it because it is favorable for Krishna consciousness. We should be happy about it. And it should be painful, which causes distress, is that which is unfavorable for cultivation. Okay, you may get more money, getting a better job in some remote place, no association devotee. That should be very painful to us because it's not so favorable. So anything favorable for the development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and anything unfavorable should be rejected. Okay. So I'll pause here. Any reflection anybody has? Just 1 minute. Is there any reflection? Arya Prabhu, Virat Prabhu. Nipuna Mataji.
I have no reflection, Prabhu.
Really? Virat Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My reflection is that these austerities appear very difficult to maintain. However, when you realize that the austerities are for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, then you will do them with joy, like you mentioned, waking up early, chanting, distribution. When you do them in the spirit of cultivating Krishna consciousness and fulfilling the Guru's mission, then it will make you very happy, and it's no longer an austerity. It actually becomes a joy. And
because you see that
always check your. Pardon, Prabhuji.
Go ahead.
Just my second reflection was always check your intention for why you are doing what you are doing, and make sure it's Krishna orientated and Krishna centered. So always check your intentions.
Yeah, and also I think one thing we can also think about is before we do any surveys, we can also take a time to actually put our intentions, put our heart's intention to what I'm trying to do here. It's very important because sometimes in a busy life, in a fast-paced life, we forget to align our intentions with our activities. It becomes little, there's sometimes some kind of gap going on. Though we do the right action, which is also good, and it is meant for pleasing Krishna, but sometimes we are not putting our intentions very much there. So I think our sadhana program should be strong, and that sadhana should lead to put our heart, because sadhana is meaning that when we are reading, hearing, all that should lead to be able to do our services, putting our intentions there. And even in our sadhana also, even in our chanting also, we need that. So before we begin any spiritual activity, whether it is chanting or reading or hearing or any services, if you can just think why I'm doing this service, and what's my intention here. So putting our heart there. I think taking a pause and doing that consciously, making it as a practice, can truly help us actually. Because many times my intentions, we don't know where it's going and it is going on. That is also good. Services are going, we're doing some actions in Krishna Mass night, but putting intentions can make the offering very wonderful, because Krishna sees that intent of your offering, intent of your service. So we should also think that is also our service. Service is also to put our intention there. Service is not just externally doing the service. It is also a service to put our intention in our services. So it's important. And another thing, what you're saying, that our happiness, we should even start seeing, oh, it's favorable for my Krishna consciousness. Yes, we are happy about it. like a businessman. You see, the businessman becomes happy with any kind of dealings. Any customer, he'll be happy when he's finding profit for the business, right? If some taking an employee and giving him extra salary, it brings more profit to the company. He's very happy with that employee. If any dealing, any franchise center he opens, and that way it brings more money to the more profit, then he's more happy. By doing some layoff with some employees, those are not working well, that makes his business better, then he will do that. Then he becomes happy when some employees are laid off. Or some center which was sickly and it is more taking cost than giving profit, closing that would be better. Then by closing that, he becomes happy. You can see how his happiness lies in what is favorable for his business. Same way, devotee should not keep his personal attachment to anything. Rather see that attachment or aversion to anything. Rather, you should see what helps me to become more and more Krishna conscious. What is favorable for my Krishna consciousness. That's why he will not have much reservations to follow the instructions of Guru and Krishna, because he knows that's favorable for my Krishna consciousness. Like that. One has to see from. So seeing our happiness in that is very important. Yes. Any other reflection? Arya Prabhu, Achyutami Mataji, or Poonam Mataji?
The same thing is that our intention to please Krishna. We can control our mind, serve Krishna in a positive way. Through Bhakti Yoga, we can achieve Krishna. So you are safe that you can control your mind and develop Krishna consciousness.
You are what? Saved.
You can serve Krishna, so you can save you can progress in Krishna consciousness. If you are doing something unfavorable, which is distressful and harmful for Krishna consciousness, so anything which is favorable for developing our consciousness or Krishna consciousness, then we can achieve that Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, correct. Arya Prabhu, you want to say anything?
Hare Krishna. I think intention supersedes everything. Like what Mataji said. Like I think intention is what Krishna actually sees when he looks at you and kind of passes judgment. Like I think that's what he sees as intention, because that's the underlying factor for everything. So that's my reflection for today.
Yes. That's why my spiritual master would say, no? Lord is not wanting the content of your offering, but he is interested in intent of your offering. So of course, Krishna is pleased with because there is surely some intent, that's why there is some content also. But he's more wanting to see your intent. Chatami Mata, you want to share any point?
Hare Krishna. I don't have any. Everyone has spoken so nicely. The mind just tends to be so vacillating, and it's hard to maintain a steady flow of oil with one's intention. It gets distracted, and we start do the same service but different intention, and we don't even know that it's happening. So you have to keep an eye on the mind. Hare Krishna.
Correct. We have to keep our intentions. We have to reinforce our intentions. That's why hearing Guru, hearing Shastras, hearing Sadhus is very essential, because that will help us. And we should try to hear with that mood to set right our intentions, to get that consciousness.
It's a comfort to know that every day I'm going to be hearing some katha. In the morning, maybe in the middle of the day, but definitely in the morning and the evening. And those two things are what keeps my car on the road.
Yeah. So that's a spiritual comfort, correct?
Yes.
Correct, yes. So it's very important this way. Reading, hearing is very, very powerful. And we have to have the right mood to do them also. To take that consciousness, to be able to apply those things in our life. Yes, Virat, what are you saying?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I like Mataji's analogy of the car, and I was listening to another class by His Grace Chaitanya Jaram Prabhuji, and he said, "Don't make Krishna your spare wheel." He said, "Make him your steering wheel." So I really like that comment, so I wanted to share it because the car analogy.
What is spare wheel, Prabhu?
The spare wheel is like we have four wheels on the
That's
car, but
great.
in the back we have like a spare wheel in case it punctures.
Oh,
So he said, "Don't make Krishna your spare wheel, only using him when you need to or have to, or in bad situation." He said, "Make him your steering wheel, like make him your navigation make him your navigation in life.
steering wheel means that front wheels, huh?
The wheel that you put your hand on to turn the car."
That is called okay. That one, huh? This one.
Yeah. So that's
Oh,
what he said.
okay. That is steering wheel, and
Steering wheel.
the spare wheel is that the actual wheel which is put on the back side like this.
Yeah, on the backside, so that if you have a puncture, you can put it
Yeah.
on the car.
And the steering wheel is that which you steer like this. That is steering wheel, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, like that one.
Mhm. Okay, okay. Very nice. Good. Yes. Prabhu. Okay. Thank you for sharing this.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, we'll pause here. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
You can put this in the group, Prabhu.
Oh, the recording. Okay, I'll do it now.
So can you switch off this? I'm not able to turn off.
Oh,
My
sure,
laptop got hanged.
sure.